Welcome everyone, Christine here with a revised guide for the Chaos Dwarves in patch 5.2 on the Legendary difficulty. Now, the reason I've chosen to talk about the Chaos Dwarves is a number of people have asked me about how to play them now that the AI has gotten significant benefits in 5.2 that make it quite tricky to deal with on Legendary, especially as a race like the Chaos Dwarves. Don't get me wrong, Chaos Dwarves have a significant level of power, but you need to earn that power in order to make their campaign work. You need to build up a varied economy, you need to take a good amount of territory, you need to rely on minor settlements for the materials and armaments that are going to allow you to ultimately get what is, quite likely, the most powerful ground force in the entire game. You don't have the kind of flexibility that flying units, thunder barges and gyrocopters, sky bombers provide, gyro bombers provide rather, but you do have incredible power on the ground. But again, you have to build up. You need to get laborers, you need to transform those laborers to get raw materials, then you need to get the armaments. So it is an issue. Now, the campaign that has some of the biggest problems is actually Drazif, because while he doesn't have, say, the weak start as Zaytan, who has a lot of territory to cover over here, and also starts with the tier 1 settlement, which is a big deal for Chaos Dwarves as opposed to Astrogoth and Drazif, he can just deal with this minor faction over here for a while, turn around, capture the challenge zone as Tamarkand is coming from the north, and give that to Tamarkand to get the military alliance, and then use Tamarkand to fight Grimgor, which Tamarkand may very well be able to win, especially if you direct his ire towards, Saber Mountain, as well as the Tusk Suns, first and foremost. So that is an important aspect. You can do this as Astrogoth or Zaytan. You don't have that kind of flexibility as Drazif. It is a bit of a dice roll whether or not Grimgor becomes a problem or not, but even discounting Grimgor, you still have other issues to deal with in your campaign. Emmerich, Tretch, Gorst, Greasus, Cafe, the Dwarves. A lot of factions in the game do have a severe level of aversion against the Chaos Dwarves. So this is the problem. Your economy takes time to build up, and a lot of people hate you. And they are quite willing to go after you. So, first things first. You will want to fight, especially early on in a campaign, these kind of battles manually. Even battles they can easily auto-resolve. You want to fight them manually because it can net you more laborers. I use our AR mods to avoid a lot of these pointless battles, and you can do so for settlement battles. But field battles you want to fight manually because it will give you more laborers in your camp. So over here, after fighting that battle manually, even if I didn't pursue them as I could have, I did get 69 over here post-battle loot and 63 as the option over there. And now we go over here, get a Root Marcher. You will want that for the sake of getting around the campaign map. Go to the Sentinels, take it over, auto-resolve this, or fight it manually. Again, you will take fewer casualties over here. And just, well, as the Sentinels, you actually want to put this as an outpost. The reason you want to put this as an outpost is because you got the Marble Quarry, which, well, rather, the reason you want to put it as an outpost is the outpost's primary purpose is to generate raw materials. You can generate money, but the important thing here is you have two slots that you want to use. So building an outpost is better because you only need to build a strip mine over here to take advantage of it. One of the things you will want to do very, very quickly in a Chaos Dwarf campaign, regardless of which one you are actually playing, is, well, beyond a couple of declarations of war, or in this case, one at a time. Don't declare war on factions if they're actually going to attack you. Cross Club certainly won't, because Greasus will obliterate them. But you do want to instantly construct the Hobgoblin mustering camp. The reason is you want to get Gordouz as quickly as possible. Getting Gordouz as quickly as possible will allow you to level him up as quickly as possible, which in turn will save you money in the long run. Gonna get Bellicose and also do a bunch of global recruitment. And yes, also using the action over there that does give me a benefit with respect to that. Just be mindful of what you're really dealing with over here in this scenario. Feel free to declare war on, the Dripping Fangs. Though be aware of the consequences that can happen if you get involved in too many wars that you cannot actually handle. So you don't want a combination of global recruitment and local recruitment early on in order to get gore dues very quickly. Research-wise, you always want to go for merchant guilds, veteran, basically overseer organization. The important thing is you want veteran convoy master before you send out your first caravan over there. And that would be turn 1. Don't do any other declarations of war at this point. It is risky. You could declare war on the Sons of the Mountain and get some money from Greases, but this is what will work decently well. You could also forego going for the labor post-battle option in your initial battle to go for more money, but you typically do gain a better rate of money if you do get... Okay. You do get a better rate of money. Alright. These guys will not fully replenish, but that's fine. Over here. So we got 3 here. Over here. We need 8 for Gordu. So I could have avoided getting one of the units over there. Because right now I am heading towards 9. So I'll just recruit 1 unit of Cast Dwarf Warriors with shields. But I could have ignored, getting one of those with... getting one of those with respect to global recruitment. And one of the things you will want to do fairly early on is getting as much Conclave influence as possible. Conclave influence is going to be so very important in this particular campaign early on. Now, as Drazif, you actually start with a tier 2 settlement, but one of your building slots is occupied by something you may not necessarily care for. You can get rid of the Hobgoblin recruitment in order to get hero recruitment, because that's actually going to be quite important, getting those heroes as quickly as possible. This is one of the benefits of Astrogoth that you do have available. So that is Gordus. That was the important bit over there that we really wanted to get a hold of. You do want to get these overseer camps as quickly as possible, so yeah, again, auto-resolve can work, so just get Gordus. That replenishment is important, but it's actually not the replenishment that's the most important thing over here in this campaign. There are other aspects. Well, the initial labor that he does provide you is actually pretty solid. We can wait another turn and hope the Crest Clubs will be willing to surrender. Over there. So over here, we just take this settlement. We can sack it for a bit more benefits, but in this case, it's not really worth it. And here you want to set up a factory. This will give you some armament production. It will affect your resource production, but you are in a situation where, because you got Gordus, you should be able to get Conclave influence. And really, what you want is actually those armaments as opposed to just pure resources early on. Leveling wise, I almost always go for firing drills. Yes, you have an argument to me towards unlocking Flames of Asgore as quickly as possible, but that's just one spell. There's others you can use. You can get a mage for that particular purpose. Now, don't get me wrong, you do want to level up Drazif as a mage, but once you get the special skill line. The reason you want Gordus as quickly as possible is you want to get him to rank 5 as quickly as possible because of that Hobgoblin financial benefit that he does have available. Now over here you should get Vision with Karakazul, declare war on Clan Verms. They might be willing to surrender immediately after, give you more money. Using declarations of war for the sake of extra money is always a net benefit in the course of your campaign. And yes, we do want more Hobgoblins over here, and we do want more Cast Dwarf Warriors. Once we have a full stack of Hobgoblins, we can get rid of the barracks over there, or we could get rid of the armament production over here in order to go for it. Now, in terms of benefits here, you can go for military doctrine if you wanted to reduce your recruitment cost. if that's your fate. And really just benefiting from the recruit rank specifically. Later on, you may want to go with some other things as well. Now, over here, important note. You may encounter this situation where Tretch does take this particular settlement. You gotta decide which path you're gonna go down towards. Over here, we have Miao Ying. Don't attack the major Cathayan factions. Don't attack their caravans. Caravans are not necessarily worth it these days as they were previously. And while you can certainly go to war with Cathay, choosing to do so at this particular point will guarantee that you will end up in a war with them. So what do you want to do here? That is the million-dollar question. Well, you just want to move Drazov. You can go after Emmerich or go after Tretch. Typically speaking, out of the factions that are a potential problem in this area, Emmerich is one of the bigger ones. Because, yeah, he's pretty nasty to tackle. Get rid of these, well, some of these fellows at any rate. Just keep 20 units in Drazov's army. Or you can just recruit a couple more later on. But not really too important at the moment. But just make sure you keep getting that conclave influence. There's a particular reason behind that. In terms of the Tower of Tsar, you want to get the Machinator as quickly as possible because you want those raw materials as quickly as possible. And while, yes, it will cost conclave influence to do so, you also want to get the Hobgoblin Tier 2 barracks, but not necessarily over here. Alright, so that's one dealt with right there. Like, it is ideal if a Cathayan caravan shows up next to your fortress. Don't worry too much about getting another army over there. So Emmerich, Tretch have moved faster than I would have necessarily anticipated. Imperial Wardens are a good faction to declare war on, though they're also a good faction to just get money in general from. So over here, we're just gonna be a bit of a sneaky Skaven, because we kinda are. See, you see Emmerich, right? You see his movement. You may not see his movement range, but you can see Drazov's movement range. And one of the things to know about the AI is that the AI does have a tendency of going after easy targets. So, for instance, in this particular case, if I set up an ambush over there, we're going to go with the Lore of Hashut. You kind of want to do so. Make sure you get miserably. Sometimes you may not have vision. Feel free to declare war on the Kazakh. They're not really going to be too much of a problem. And you can also declare war on Village. Do not declare war on Zaytan. You do want the money here. It is going to be important. And you may also want to get that peace agreement instantly, because you don't, like, if you find this faction, that minor faction, alive at the beginning of your campaign, yeah, just go for it. The Black Fortress garrison is substantial enough for you to be able to auto-resolve, though keep in mind you may want to fight this manually. Over here, it's only 15 labor, so I'm actually going to choose the money right there. Alright, so we are recruiting here. This guy can recruit better units, but right now we do just want to keep getting conclave influence. We do want more. Specifically, you want enough. What you're looking here, either if you're going for Emmerich or you're going for Tretch, what you really want to do in this situation is you want to ensure that you have enough conclave influence to get the capital that they have at tier 3. Make sure you sack it beforehand, because, yeah, that's how it works. Wait for that particular upgrade. Get this particular army right here. Declare war on Emmerich. He will inevitably send his army after it. And if he retreats, fair enough. You work with that. It will work. Don't be afraid of sacrificing some of your labor potential for this. We're actually going to get rid of the Hobgoblin recruitment here, though only after next turn, because we still are recruiting some units. And now that the research over there is finished, we can get our caravan. We wanted to get that higher level lord. Make sure you get cargo capacity and better scales. Caravans are a great source of money and crucially a great source of labor. But what do you want? Well, it depends on what you're given here. Like I could go with 500 labor or I could go with 400 material in 4 turns. I think I'm gonna go for the materials here. It will prove useful for that factory. Specifically, I do want to try and get this element to tier 3. So I want to save for that. And then I want to get that armory. Or rather, that factory up by a level. Depends on what you're dealing with, how many enemies you're fighting. And as expected, Emmerich fell into ambush. You may have done it before. Alright, so over here, go for the labor units. And one of the things to understand, casters don't have supply lines, so you can have multiple armies going at the same time. This is particularly useful to capture territory because it gives you a flexibility that you otherwise don't have. Also pay attention to any declarations of war and peace that may be available to you later on. So we can see that this army would certainly win that situation, right? It's like, it's not the most ideal, but it would be doable. Capture it as a factory because you do have a landmark that you want to use over there. Get rid of this hobgoblin unit and move Drasov over here in this location. Now, we can get the high-powered assembly drill to a higher level, but for a moment, we do need a bit more labor. Or we do want to get that capital to a higher level. We're gonna rush construction. Once it's 100, it's fine to rush construction. Just get the hobgoblin. You're gonna need to wait until tier 3 over there, so it's not really a big concern right there. You can also get the non-aggression pact, and more importantly, a trade agreement. You're not really gonna have a lot of trade resources early on when you start your campaign. Now over here, don't be afraid of declaring war on the vampires, because it might give you a peace agreement instantly. And then you can use that to declare war on a faction that, in this case, the Jet Custodians are not really in a position. Like, the minor Cathayan factions are fine to declare war on. Usually you will see, like, with the exception of Zaytan, you should be fine to see them. Now, I'm getting rid of one, but I'm also getting another one. Be careful with how you send your caravans, because that is certainly a risk that you are going to take. Over here, just get firing drills and save your skill points, unless you absolutely need them. Emmerich may not go into that ambush that, you know, I set up for him, but you should be able to defeat his initial army with 2 of your own. What do you want here? Well, really what you want is Flash Bomb. The reason Flash Bomb is because it's really a strong debuff that you can use quite a bit. Now here you want to save up your skills, because once you reach level 12, you can get his entire special skill line. So level up until 7, normally. And then, regardless of what you choose, blue, red, melee, caster, doesn't matter. But save up for that special skill line. What you're really after here is not the long years of exile, though obviously getting that very early is important. What you're really interested in is things like the Greed of Asgore or We Are Legion. These kind of things are significant. Just be a bit careful about, you know, Emmerich's potential counterattack, and that's one of the reasons you want to move ahead. One of the things you want to get here, because you will be using hobgoblins quite a lot in this campaign, is Brutal Disciplinarian and, crucially, Harsh Master. In this case, actually, I'm going to delay by 1 turn destroying that barracks, because we're just going to recruit more hobgoblins. Try and minimize your casualties in every battle. Over 95% of the battles you do fight in a campaign are the kind of battles you will win. But what's important towards your campaign success is not so much winning them. What's actually really important is minimizing your casualties in them. It can't happen all the time. In this case, it doesn't matter every single time, but it does matter in a situation like this, for instance. Now, we don't necessarily have enough labor force or enough influence over here. I'm actually missing just a smidge. I am willing to sacrifice my material production. I don't have a siege ability right here, but we can send Drazif to besiege this particular settlement. And again, like, siege battles are fairly easy to pull off, even against high elves, especially because he's only recruited a couple of ranged units. But concentrate your units on a section of the walls, do a lot of damage. Like, Drazif in particular is great at this. So we can see over here that we can't really get it just yet. But you're fine sacking these settlements because, well, a couple of reasons. One, we can get more conclave influence. So if we look at this particular settlement, we do need 125, right? Well, we're gonna need one extra turn over there. Okay, now what do you want to get here? So we can wait one turn, that's fine, that's not really a problem. Wait one turn, get more conclave influence, take another of Emeric's element. You just want to get, like, the fact that this element has a certain level is not, it's not important. What do you want in terms of, like, unit production? Well, the Taurus would always be nice, but you do kind of want to get the artillery up and running as quickly as possible in that situation. Alright, so just wait a bit. You may not get, so yeah, Flash Bomb, as I have stated, and with him, you just save up for those skill lines. So sometimes not taking a territory, instead sacking it, just so you can take it in a better way, is actually the smarter decision. We don't really have a threat that's going to come over here, unless Tretch declares war on us. But typically Tretch will go over there in the north. This is kind of the thing to understand about playing a Chaos Dwarf campaign. If you're playing Zaytan, the only threat is Grimgor. If you're playing Astragoth, the only real threat is Grimgor. If you're, at least early on, later on you have Kislev and all that. But typically factions won't necessarily declare war on you if you're careful about it. But then, you know, Grimgor is the real freaking wild card, and he always is. He's the kind of guy who ruins your campaigns. Okay, so over here, with all of that done, overseer organization, what do you want next? Stronghold Syndrome, to reduce that upkeep of hobgoblins even further. This is the reason overseers are so important for leading armies in battle. So just set up a siege over here, don't worry too much about it. Get those extra laborers. Don't be too worried. So we're at 125 directly over there. I could have obviously used Drazif. So over here, we're just gonna set it up as an outpost, or we can sack it to see if we have enough movement range. You do need roughly 25% movement range if you're gonna sack a settlement and then occupy it on the same turn. So just get this particular settlement and now set up another mine. And just get more conclave influence, because why not? Get rid of, well, we have a unit of hobgoblins over there. And over here, what we want to start doing is moving this army a bit south. You can see that the main settlement that I do have is already pushing higher. Financially, I'm certainly losing money, but that's not really my big concern right now. Pay attention to any possibilities of declarations of war that you can go for, whichever ones they might be. Though, keep in mind some of the downsides that do come with this. Yes, you can even go to Mr. Grimgor. Be concerned about declaring war on Grimgor, because what can happen, beyond the fact that, you know, Grimgor might, you know, just directly come for you, like Sons of the Mountains should be safe enough. Like, it's not necessarily safe to declare war on them from the beginning of your campaign, but it is safe to declare war on them this many turns in. The reason it's not safe to declare war on them from the very beginning is because they might come down the mountain over here and attack you. If I toggle fog of war, right, I know pretty much how the situation is unfolding. Basically, Greases will always wipe out the cross clubs, and then he'll end up with a fight with these guys. But he will win that fight. And yes, they might be a problem over there, but because they're dealing with Greases, I wouldn't be too worried about that. Be worried about that if you want to be. Anyway, just get rid of that. Armament production should be up soon enough. Caravan should reach its destination. Going for laborers is not a bad move with caravans. Yes, they do attack because this is what the AI does, and now we can take this fortress as tier 3. Why do we want to take it as tier 3 when we're already building another one up as tier 3? Well, the reason behind that particular course of action is that, yes, you can build another one to tier 3, but unless you want to get rid of the massive defensive cannon that Drazov has, you want to basically have another tier 3 fortress. And this is actually an essential point that I wish to make about Chaos Dwarves. Getting another settlement to tier 3 as quickly as possible is going to be a significant boost to your campaign for a couple of reasons. In this case, the particular reason that it is a benefit is, well, I can get the Tarok, the Great Taurus, the Ash level, which will give us Infernal Castellans. And importantly, by getting it to tier 3 beyond the building slots, we can also increase the hero capacity for all of these heroes we're going to get. This is what's really relevant over here. Now, you might say, well, you're losing money and you're going to go bankrupt soon enough. There's certainly truth in that particular sentiment, but not quite. Because again, as I've already established, there's declarations of war we can take advantage of over here in order to feed our economy just enough to keep going. Tamarkan just defeated Kolek over there, and because of that particular situation, we're just gonna go and take advantage of that. And just pay attention to what else might be available. Be a bit concerned about some of these factions that you declare war on. I would absolutely not make a deal with Tretch, because you will want to go for him. And as established, money, so additional ogre units, diplomatic relations. Okay, this army has monstrous units. Usually I would go for the stronger caravan from a military perspective. Now over here we're going to go for Castle Drakenhof because we actually do need the laborers, but make sure you set up that extra cargo capacity and better scales. It is important to level up those as quickly as possible. You can always go for Black Rag, though over here I would have to sacrifice a fair amount of armaments in order to make that happen. We are on the brink of bankruptcy over here, but we do have a couple of aces up our sleeve over here as well. So we got artillery that will be finished soon enough. We can sacrifice some of our labor capacity for the sake of it. And we're decent enough with materials that I'm actually fine making that particular sacrifice. And even going further over here and rushing construction for the artillery that we do want to pick up. Crucially, we want magma cannons, ASAP. Now, this is going to cost an arm and a leg, undeniably so. And we may not necessarily have the money in this situation unless we want to do something that we would rather actually not end up doing in this state of affairs. We can declare war on the overlords. They're not going to come for us, and they're not really going to be a problem, so just don't be too worried about it. You can go declare war on the Celestial Loyalists, though I would not necessarily recommend doing so through the Beastmen. Don't be afraid of necessarily being in a negative situation with respect to your materials. It is bad, undeniably so, because it will affect your armament production in return and your economic situation. But as long as you're not going too crazy with respect to that, you should be okay. Be a bit concerned about what you're going to be doing with the ogres over there, though. But in this case, I do need to fight them. You know, laborers, materials, all that. Going for pig barter, you might say you're leaving yourself exposed. But that's the thing, though. Like, you look at this situation. They have an army, but they don't have the capability of going after us. And besides, that army can always retreat. Getting those cannons would be important here, to be sure. Well, let's take a look at this affair. So we declare war on them. May not win, but that's why we have Drazov behind them, ready to support them. Once you get Stronghold Syndrome, and once you get the Veteran Caravan, what I would recommend you do is get Lord and Hero Recruit rank. Specifically, you also want the Demonsmith Sorcerer ability over there. So this barracks, or not necessarily this one can work just as well. But what we're going to do here is get Demonsmith. You may be tempted to trade some of your materials for the sake of... I could have waited an extra turn over there. Get more laborers in this case. And we might be just able to support that. Or if we're not... Yeah, as expected. What you want to do here, set up a factory. The ports are incredible factory settlements for a variety of reasons. And yeah, we're still not out of the danger zone, undeniably so, but we're getting closer and closer and closer. Get Warmatic, you do kind of want to get in your face, but it is nice that Creative Assembly did buff. Alright, get that melee capability. Did buff range units in general. Or rather, not buffed, but fixed the issue that gunpowder heroes or ranged heroes had in terms of, you know, general problems in their campaigns. Okay, he's willing to give us a peace treaty, except that you don't want to have Village necessarily pissed off at you throughout your campaign. You do have various choices over here. But it's a management act of, you know, who do you want to declare war on, when do you want to declare war on. Ostermark, for instance, is not going to come for us, so we're fine doing that. You don't... It is just that important aspect of getting barracks to tier 3. Getting that main settlement to tier 3 by saving up a lot of the Conclave influence, using laborers for conversion, which in turn will give you all of those units. You do, however, need a decent amount of armaments as well to help you out, which in turn does require a, you know, certain level of... Okay, that's a convoy. We can go for it. This is a lucky break. Alright, this is a really lucky break. Don't be too worried about the greenskins if, you know, they're, you know, kind of gonna suffer. Alright, so over here... we can try and set up another ambush. Setting up ambushes is such a tried and tested tactic. Now over here, I'm just going to recruit one unit because I kind of want this particular army to just, you know, start marching towards me. The AI is scripted in such a way that they're more likely to attack you if they think. This is on the thinking part, certainly not something that you necessarily usually say about the AI, but if they think that you're vulnerable, doesn't mean you are. So over here, the AI is also scripted to attack you in points where it might matter. So any army that's recruiting, let's say 1 or 2 units, is going to be more likely to be attacked, as a general rule, by the AI. You may also transfer some of those materials for the sake of getting transfer some of those materials for the sake of getting a bit more. So you do need to balance things out a bit more in terms of your income. You can't just go balls to the walls and ignore the income buildings, as you could before, by the way. Like you could. Like it was dicey, but after a certain point it became viable. So over here we've set up a lovely little ambush for the ogres. Let's see if they take the bait. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. It's not important. The thing is, the AI is not going to detect you instantly. They're only going to... Like, yeah, as I said, ambush foiled. But they did waste their movement. That's kind of the important bit. Alright. And now Drazov can go and finish the job. Since the level of settlements doesn't matter in terms of what level you're taking them on, you can always just occupy them with another army. Though in this case, it may not necessarily be the wisest idea to occupy with anyone other than Drazov, because, yeah. And this is one of the reasons you want to fight battles manually, because otherwise the post-battle loot situation is abysmal. Now, why did I not get the high ground, the assembly line going over there? Well, simple reason. With respect to that, it wasn't worth it. Because you do need a certain level of laborers to maintain that. First Tarok is out. We can also get another general over here to recruit more units. Might be useful, might not be. Alright, over here just get a bit of money, but don't declare war on the Celestial Loyalists. You kind of want to give yourself some options over here. Like declaring war on the Skaven over there, which for whatever weird reason, these guys, the Imperial Wardens, do tend to get involved in a war with them. So that's enough money to keep me going. Could I win this battle? Well, Drazov does become a powerhouse once he levels up enough. And specifically, once he becomes a flying unit, he makes an easy job of any particular siege. Not necessarily worried about taking this element at a high level. It's not important. What you're really after over here is pig barter. In fact, this is so unimportant that I might not even build a build here. I could get the second factory. No, we'll just occupy it as a tower, because you do get 2 slots. Pig barter is pig barter, and just get some money as well as the resource production. Towers are useful when you just don't want to waste the resources, the materials, or the parlor and cash on other things. Now we're gonna want another general. Yes, we're getting tons and tons of freaking generals over here. You want overseers to lead armies, but what we want here, yep, we want those guys. The units that will become available right there. These quest battles should be available in just a moment. So get a peace agreement, declare war on these guys, because they're not going to attack you. And even if they are, what do you care? They're certainly not liable to march directly for your entire territory just to launch a premeditated attack against you. That is unlikely. And now he's gotten his entire special skill line, and now we can focus on his magic skill. It will weaken you temporarily, but you do actually get the benefit of improving your archers when that matters. The reason you want to go for firing drills is because the dwarf units have a different skill line than the hobgoblin units. That's one of the principal reasons for that particular choice. You don't want to necessarily keep Gordoos in the same army all the time, by the way. And yeah, over here we're just gonna transfer these units right here. But don't recruit those just yet. We do have some time, because it's gonna take multiple turns to get that, and we should get Drazov's quest battle available soon enough. Be careful about Tretch once he gains a certain level of territory. So at this point, I'm in a strong enough... Wow. But either way, I'm in a strong enough position to be able to go after Gorst or go after Nurgle. You may choose to go for one or the other, basically. That is your personal decision. In this case, we're gonna go after Gorst. But I'm also going to transfer these troops over here in the Overseer army. And move that Tarok right there. We do need more money. And yeah, Barakvar is a good target to declare war on once you meet Queek. Queek is an interesting one to think about. He's actually quite liable to become your best friend.
My hand hovers close to my blade.
because you don't necessarily care about territory he cares about. And this applies in every Chaos Dwarf campaign, because like we look at victory conditions, we do need to destroy, we do need to hold Zarnagrund, we do need to take certain settlements and all that. There is a benefit, if I just toggle the Fog of War, there is a benefit here in Caracade Peaks, partly because it's a special city, but there is no territory that Queek holds that you care about. And he does have a tendency of setting up a settlement over here in the Desolation of Nagash. Just a quick point over there. So whereas Tretch is, well, Tretch.
Your cadaver will make an excellent.
Actually, just want that better scale, so I'm guessing that, no, one more turn for that caravan. They do gain experience. So just make sure you get better scales with them, because you do want the sales when they do arrive. And also make sure you get hidden stores. You want to actually get it to replenish in foreign territory. That's the important bit. That's the priority of the build. So over here, we're just going to get that higher. You don't want to build the drill, just, again, as I said, that particular situation right there. So now we're in an affair where we can either go for Kugaf or Gerst, or both. Grimgor is not a problem yet. Tamarkan is just to the north of him. Grimgor usually declares war just a bit later. He might declare war on this point. You could go deal with Tretch, as I said. Like, that's a choice. It's a perfectly viable, reasonable choice to make in a campaign. What's interesting here about the territory Kugaf, like the territory Gorst holds, not really important. Though you can trade it to Xiao Ming. Oh yeah, we're gonna go there. This is the reason I decided not to piss off Miao Ming, because Xiao Ming would not appreciate that. This is a bit of an odd one to think about, but Cathay doesn't actually hate you that much. And this territory that Gorst holds, it's not really that important for your economy. The territory Greasus holds, on the other hand, that is, but the territory Gorst holds, not quite so much, though you can always trade territory, that, all that. But either way, you can secure a military alliance with Xiao Ming, Gelt, you name it. You can secure those military alliances over there in this particular campaign. Again, be careful who you're declaring war on, because it can easily backfire in your freaking face. Just be mindful of that. You might wish to accept a treaty with him, but not really important. And you gain money for that particular quest item. So let's just declare war, though we are also going to want a couple of things. Instant construction, so just get that. And now we can get that demon smithy. So that will give us that hero over there. So quite importantly, in 3 turns, we'll get another demon smith sorcerer. So we'll have several of them. And we can get another location. Get Warmonger. There are other benefits, but the sheer amount of power that you do gain a benefit from, and also, yeah, do increase your blunderbuss and warrior capacity, if you can. Okay, so the decision here is, who do you want to freaking annihilate? Don't go after both of them, because you will regret your choices over here. Or at least don't go after both of them at the same time. That particular settlement, as you can see over there, is not easily approachable. That rock is, but I think I'd be tempted to attack at sea, just attack the caravan of blue roses. But you do want Kugaf's territory. The reason you want these territories, and in general docks, is because of the significant material benefits that you'll gain from owning said docks. Always remember that Drazov is the most powerful one. And at this point, yeah, you just want to occupy these towers at tier 1. Keep in mind, though, that spending Conclave Influence is generally less painful in your campaign. Like, the reason we want this, by the way, is eventually getting hero capacity. You can always choose not to go for that. You do have a tier 3 benefit there. Okay. So, pick a fight over here. You are well suited towards destroying Gorst. Right here. Because these kind of secondary armies are not going to be anywhere as powerful as his principal army. You can also control large army to only deal with 20 units at the time. But yeah, even though hobgoblins are not necessarily the greatest, they will get the job done in this situation.
Anfa Agrimazul. Dumlet. Gustagrisda. Dumlef. Afan Ardugal. Thrinas Kazak.
Especially hobgoblin archers. Alright.
Ardugaltok. Nativazaf. Gumlef. Hasut Udial Manu Araf.
Yeah, pulling them back in neutral waters so they can replenish a bit. Yeah, Killing Fire, Curse of a Shoot. You just want to get the Flames of Asgore eventually. So just save up. And there's your money. Nicely and secure right there. Okay. What you want to get here from this particular tier 3 settlement is, yeah, you want to get that barracks. And you may want to get that demon smithy as quickly as possible to as high level as possible. You may invest a lot of the money you do earn in just flat out cash at this point. Or, sorry, a lot of the labors and flat out cash at this point, and the money you're earning into just getting those outposts. Prioritize building outposts early on because, yeah, it's pretty damn important to do so. Now, if we look at Drazov, ignore him for a second. If we look at Drazov, rank 15 quest battle, mission, okay. So we do have 2 more levels over there. Once you get a decent amount, or all of these skills, yeah. Item management wise, keep that in mind. If you are in a situation where you want items, just remember your caravans will provide those items. Just keep getting those caravans to go for different settlements. You should be fine in that respect. You usually don't want to send the caravan to the same location twice. It's just not... You do need a bit of a cooldown period, basically. Rebellions aren't so common as Chaos Dwarves as long as you don't loot and occupy settlements. Bear that aspect in mind. And over here, we're kind of going to want... Like, yeah, we can get Flayed Rock, sell it to... No, yeah, we're just going to get the... nothing over there. So, Gorst. Kugaf is only dangerous with his principal army. But that principal army is not really a dangerous one either. Because he just has a bunch of Nurglings and, you know, Plague Bearers, which are no match even for your freaking Hobgoblins. Of course, you're living on a limited time over here until either Skarsnik wins and comes to demolish you, or... no delays. Or Thorgrim and Ungrim win and come to demolish you. That's where the problem is. Even if Grimgor is not a problem, others sure as hell are a problem. That's unavoidable. Fill the barracks over here and just wait. Like, we're gonna sell this territory to Miao Yang, so we don't really care about what we're developing here. There's an item completed. Now, what amount does he have? Alright. Hold on. Yeah, he doesn't have anything because he's not rank 10. Not bad. But yeah, we do want those ports. I mean, if we look over here, this is the reason. Armament production. And if we look even closer, it can come from refinery building. So it's a lot of armaments. And because of the cannons we got, this would be fairly freaking easy. Just gonna merge these two though. And he should not have enough movement range. Just be a bit careful though. I think I'm gonna take it, no. Just take it as tier 1. You do want to save that conclave influence for later, even if it means sacrificing that. Careful of the landmines that you're setting up for yourself in the long term though. I'm gonna save that regiment renown for Drazov. Actually, I'm gonna put it in his army right now because he has a pretty difficult quest battle. Actually, all the Castdwarf quest battles can be a bit nasty, so you kind of need to send some of your elite units. The army that I'm showing there should be able to win. Just bear in mind the consequences there. All right, so he's stolen my slot. Don't fight for slots, it's a dumb thing. You want the immediate clause, you want the besiege benefit there to cause a wall breach. It will make sieges easier to just in general tackle. And over here, we do have some material, so let's go for some money. Because yeah, we do need that freaking money. Get more conclave influence, get those tower slots. Spend the laborers. Can't stress this out enough. Spend the laborers. If you have enough money to survive one turn, spend them on conclave influence. Wow, Greece is actually losing. No, he's not. He's winning. Just like they just took one settlement there. That's not winning on their part, by the way. Alright. So yeah, he's retreated because he can't win. It's just annoying coming from the sea on that settlement because the landing position makes it so you can't attack it navally. Just a weird bug. CA kind of needs to fix that. You're in a great position to deal with Kugav because, again, he has limited armies. And unlike Tamarkan, who can have really good troops, Kugav doesn't. Same with dealing with Epidemius, by the way. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. That is good. That is really good. Holy shit. Sometimes you do get lucky like that. Here we can attack that particular settlement there. Alright, so just keep force marching over here with these more elite units. Obviously, I would have taken some casualties here, but there is no one to stop me. There is no one to stop me. Alright, just gonna transfer a couple of... or maybe not... yeah, I can transfer 100. Again, just that conclave influence. Keep getting those seats. Eventually, yeah, I will want the wall breach aspect right there. Killing fire. Curse of a Shoot is a pretty good one. or Ash Storm, making them more vulnerable to fire. Curse of a Shoot is pretty good against single targets with Asgore is bananas as a spell, especially because you do have it for cheaper. So we're just gonna take that settlement. Of course, hands. So where is Mr. Kugaf? Yeah, he's fallen back. Take advantage, full advantage. And yeah, you do want to get taking full advantage of Gorst missing in action, I guess. As long as he's at war with one faction, you are safe. This is where the danger zone comes with Grimgor, Tretch, any faction in the game. As long as they're fighting someone else, they're not necessarily likely to declare war on you as a player. They're instead more likely to keep fighting that war. That is something you do want to take advantage of. So Caravan is finished, and there's the quest battle. We're not really going to focus on Cataclysm spell. Okay. Alright, so obviously we can get rid of that army there. So we don't have to deal, like you may want to deal with an extra lord, but first off, deal with this quest battle and then force march Razov over there. Ooh, that should give you an idea of how nasty that freaking thing is. As a battle, if I would lose a warrior unit there. Yeah, so they'll retreat because they can't win that, right? We have the settlement besieged so that Kugaf can't actually come in and sally out and, you know, win the day. Make sure you get factories all around the place over here. That's what this place is for, really. No joke. More materials. Save up at this stage. Get that one. And just keep getting conclave influence. Well, I suppose we will just have to... Like, you can win this battle without losing on units with this exact army. It's just kind of weird. Yeah, auto resolve for quest battles is interesting little episode. What can I say? But we got blunderbusses as a replacement. Regiments Renown are not something you want to keep consistently in your army. We got a ton of money in return, which in turn will help us with other things, like getting this to tier 3. Yeah, getting that to tier 3. So now we can march and deal with Kugaf. Okay, Ash Storm, Dark Subjugation. Still no Flames of Asgore. Flames of Asgore do help in that battle, so you can delay it if you have enough money. So, taking a look over here, we got our 2 casters. Gonna go with 1 Lore of Metal. Forces of Order. Let's say we go with that. I mean, the research rate would be beneficial usually. But not necessarily when you're playing Cast Dwarves. The reason for that is Cast Dwarf research is not really that slow. Actually, we're just going to get hidden stores. But it's more so the question of resources, right? Hard to hit is always a good choice for Tarox. Alright, so Caravan is finished. Send it to safe locations. But don't spend armaments just yet. Spend money. I would go for materials if I had a good trade. I sadly don't. I suppose I can go for the haunted forest, right? That's gonna be a bizarre one. Hey, Gorst, we're beating the shit out of you. Care to give us some materials? That's just weird. Don't underestimate one thing about cast dwarf sorcerers. They're actually quite good in battle. Yeah, no joke. Oh, Ungrim. Yeah, that is one of the things. Once we get the Eastern River Lords, declare war on instantly on Nakai. And get peace agreements and declarations of war. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. You need to get those materials as quickly as possible, but getting those materials requires you to fight a lot of battles. Sure, the higher difficulty helps with that, but the problem is that even though the higher difficulty helps with that, you still need a ton of money, and considering the fact that you do require a lot of armies. Now, I understand that, you know, I'm playing a game of chicken over here, but the chances of Grimgor ending up in a war, like every single campaign I fought so far, ever since the release of Thrones Decay, Grimgor has almost always ended up in a war with Hammercon. The coin flip is whether or not he wins. Now, there's still a chance of Grimgor going to war against you, especially if he thinks you're weak. This is one of the reasons why when you're fighting any campaign, when you're fighting any particular campaign, you want to ensure that the casualties you take in battle are minimized, because the weaker you are from, you know, post-battle situation, the more likely the enemy will be to attack you. And that's the important bit, really. You don't want to be perceived as being weak, because if you're perceived as being weak, well, chances are the AI Grimgor will declare war on you and wipe you out. So this is one of the reasons, even without resolving AR mods, that it's not so great to, you know, do what I just did there. Just a hint. Just an idea. We could take that. Yeah, let's just do that. Because we can use Drasif to, what is Gorse doing, though? Another factory. So the production of resources over here will be vastly increased. Get those cast dwarf sorcerers. Yep. Kind of want to get that Lord and Hero Crew rank before I get another Tarok. As for Infernal Castellan, we do need to get the barracks to a higher level, which we will do next turn. Though I think I'm going to put it off by another turn to really make it work. Some more towers. We can kick him out, but again, it's just not really worth it. Get that one. And get that one. Don't. It's better to wait for another cast war faction to trigger the higher tier. Because you don't want to be in a situation where you're the one who's spending all the resources to get to a higher tier in the Tower of Tsar, and then someone else is able to get to the good seats there. You want to make it more expensive for them to do so. You want to make it more expensive. Let's see if we see Xiaoming. Not yet. But a bunch of settlements with barracks in them will be absolutely a tempting target for them to work with. Alright. We will cover our losses. And besides, the army they have right now would lose against the garrisons. Bit surprised I haven't found Gorst's main army necessarily. I guess Kugaf defeated it? What do I know? Sometimes you get lucky. And my reply to that would be, not only no, hell no. Yeah, some of these guys gone. Another factory. You can also raise it for a lot of money. Don't do so. Building up this structure is a bloody pain in the neck. But get that, because yeah, it's a landmark.
Subjugitash! Doomskullki! Hashut binda drashkazad. Anu!
So now we're in a race against our own caravan to get there first. What? Oh man, that's... You know, this bug really needs to be fixed. I'm glad he didn't get locked over there. That's just bizarre though. Really freaking bizarre. Alright, get more money. As you can see, our financial situation has certainly gotten a lot better than it was before. And right now, it's all about that early game, those kind of early game actions. Getting the heroes, getting the artillery, getting the tier 3 capital to access the units to give yourself the necessary power in order to, well, flat out survive. Once you get to a point like this, you're fine. You're in the home stretch. I'm gonna send them for here because I'm gonna actually send my armies over here to deal with Mr. Greases. Stretch may be a problem though at this point. One more turn and I can get more Infernal Castellans. You can increase Infernal Castellan capacity as well. Don't worry too much about these. Just wait until someone opens up the second tier. Save up for that particular tier right there. And in essence, that's what you need to know. Just play it safe. I could have played this differently, gone after Tretch, but Tretch, he's kind of fine with what I'm doing right over here. And yeah, all those distant declarations of war, because of the vision the caravans give you, is very useful. Now, you might consider all of this cheesing. Fair enough, right? It's like, it's a perfectly legitimate argument to be had in quite a lot of ways. For my part, whatever. Yeah, they're gonna... Those plagues are annoying, but not too annoying. They won't be able to win there. That's what you need to know. And now we can start getting higher level artillery, could die. And as I said, don't be the one that unlocks tier 2. Let the other schmucks do it for you. Kind of a bit of an important factor. Get Brazen Guardian. And if you don't have the resources, just wait until you do. Though, certainly in this case, yeah, I may have a bit too many. I may just have a bit too many factories, but it's kind of worth the, cost, if you will. Given the long-term benefits. These guys, yeah, they'll be a problem. You can always get a declaration of war if you want, and then sweep and obliterate them. From my experience, it's not worth allying Gorst, or Greases, or Kugath. This is the reason I went to war against Gorst and Kugath. Well, for Kugath, it's pretty simple. The territory he has is very valuable because of all those factories. With Gorst, he controlled one of the regions, and I wanted it. And also, the territory allows me to, ally. Well, that's a good one. This may actually be a problem. Not necessarily a big one, though. We could get a temporary peace agreement. Or... we could risk it all in a battle that we can't win. No. Alright, so he's sailing over there, taking damage along the way. We're losing a bit of materials right now. We're just gonna build an outpost right here. Yes, an outpost. There we go. Money is flowing in. As for that situation, yeah, just put them both over there. At this stage, you can get rid of this one. It's not really too important. You can keep it if you want to. But this is one of the reasons, that structure is actually one of the reasons you want to have both materials and outposts in the same location. And there we go, finally, Flames of Asgore. Again, could have gotten that earlier, but Gorse just kind of chilled out. And if you can corner an enemy in a settlement, especially as Drazov, you can certainly win. So another caravan awaits. In this case, Grey Hall of Greases. There we go. As you can see, income is in a pretty good position. So the ogres will take that settlement and then we'll kick them the fuck out. All the while waiting to see who's gonna win there. The nice benefit of Tamarkand though is the fact like what I've noticed with the way the AI fights each other. Like yes, you can have, okay, ignore that. I know this auto resolve is bullshit. It's actually the only, like it's kind of these battles that are the most bullshit. Like yeah, I shouldn't have won that. I know. Well, like probably could have won if I had moved that army to defend it. That's kind of on me. Alright, Infernal Castellans. Should have gotten them a bit earlier, but you know, various things to worry about in this campaign. If you get to this point of the campaign, where you got a good amount of heroes, where your production is okay, where everything is in a good situation, you've won. It may not necessarily be the most glorious victory, but it is a victory.
Can I assist?
And yeah, if you minimize your casualties and don't piss off Grimgor through unnecessary actions, you can even, for whatever reason... Alright. This Skaven may have a couple of unpleasant aspects. They can defeat Kislev, but they might lose in some other ways. So now these slots are open. Always go for this one, reduce construction time for buildings. Pretty dang powerful. There we go. Material production problems resolved. Don't know what they're doing over there. The army leader with two. Yeah, okay, I could, like, you don't even need to fight that hell. The garrison, you just press out resolve. They lose by, like, in every measure. The AI does have a tendency of keeping some armies alive. It's a bit annoying if it's dealing with counts or coast, because they do have a tendency of recruiting on the field, so those are obnoxious as hell to deal with. But yeah, Greasus awaits. We obliterate Greasus. Yeah, after obliterating Gorst. Show them their place. But I would have been in a much better situation overall if I had fought a lot more of these battles manually. But I think I can speak for a lot of players on that particular subject. A lot of people do auto-resolve battles. Not all of them, but, like, you know, if you're telling me there's any single player in this world that fights every single battle in Total War, I will not fucking believe you. I'm sorry, that's not freaking happening. Okay, so just for the sake of purpose, like, we sell Nabi Gorge, we get military access and a defensive alliance, we start selling scrap towers, get trade agreement, and then we sell flayed rock. That puts us in military alliance level. And why is that so important? Well, you see, you can kind of get Xiaoming to fight Grimgor for you. Yep. I would not declare war on Grimgor in this situation. It's certainly labor disputes, but this is how you survive a situation like this. You get a faction that has the ability of massing units very quickly to do the fighting for you while you focus. Like, basically, you'd withdraw. Like, you can either go for the gold mine, which is a very powerful settlement building over here. You can go for a gold mine, but you see Xiaoming? He's in a good position. Just be mindful of Snitch. You may want to help him with Snitch. Can he maintain alliance? Yes. So only minus 40 aversion. Now for Zaytan, this is difficult, right? Because he does need to conquer Cafate. But you can help Tamarkan win against Grimgor. Ally Tamarkan, give him territory, help him out in one critical battle, and then go deal with Cafate. Like, basically, deal with the initial cast faction, then turn around, take the challenge zone, give it to Tamarkan, then help Tamarkan defeat Grimgor. Or military ally him, have him fight a couple of these factions, and then declare war on Grimgor. And as long as you can defeat some critical armies there, it would be enough. Like, in this case, I think Grimgor is likely going to defeat Tamarkan. But keep in mind how many turns we're in, right? And at this point, if Grimgor declares war on me, he's not just dealing with me. That is the essence here. Get someone else to help you out. When you have limited armies, playing the diplomatic game is essential. I'm sure some people are going to comment, well, you could have said that in 2 minutes, but there's a lot more essence, this nuance, like, okay, what do you prioritize in terms of heroes, buildings, all that. Lots of details. Kosin here signing out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and enable notifications, and stay tuned.